cares about women's wrestling, man?
Who the fuck put me in the ring with Minoru Suzuki? You might as well call me the Numpty Hunter.
Listen up, wrestling fans.
That's right, listen up. This is Strong Honor, where we talk about New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor. Thanks for checking out the show. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and wherever you can make reviews. Share this thing on social media at Strong Honor and other places, Facebook.com/Strong Honor Podcast.
Write it in bathroom stalls.
Get it on Reddit, whatever. We are available now on SLTDwrestling.com, and they have a Spreaker account where they're posting this thing now. As well as the other podcast we do, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast.
What the hell is a Spreaker?
Is it a Spreaker or Speaker?
Spreaker. It's another podcast host, basically. They used to do their own podcast there, so they're going to be posting it there. And wherever you find podcasts, you can find this podcast. You know, iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Google Play, all of them. I don't know. So, and if there's one that we're not on that we could be, let us know. There's a couple like Podbean that are. Podbean is like Spreaker, where they host their own podcast, so that's why we haven't been on Podbean before. But I do have us on Spreaker, but you can only get like the newest episodes on Spreaker because I only have their free account, because I'm not going to pay two different podcast hosts for one podcast. So we have the one podcast host, but it's available pretty much anywhere. Like, you can download the free podcast aggregators on your Android device. I don't know why we're talking about this shit here.
We're everywhere. Podcasts so easy.
I just wanted to know what Spreaker was.
So there you go. But yeah, we got a lot to talk about in New Japan and Ring of Honor this week.
Spreaker jams.
We got the G1 announcements. We got the who's in the blocks, who's in the whole tournament. We got the entire match lineup for the tournament. We're not going to talk about every match today, but I want to talk about some key opening night matches and what's happened in the last couple of nights, because I think that's going to tell a bit of a story about what might be going on in the tournament as far as who's some favorites to win the whole thing. So we'll get into the G1. We'll talk these Kizuna Roadshows from over the weekend. We had 3 shows. Man, what a busy wrestling weekend it was. I really wish that Ring of Honor or New Japan or WWE would have had something next weekend, because the only thing going on next weekend is that Evolve show where Adam Cole's defending the North American Championship against Walter. So that's like the only thing going on next week.
The shitty thing, too, is just everything was pretty much on point, too, so it wasn't like I'll come back to that.
I mean, that's kind of what happened with me and Money in the Bank and some WWE stuff. We'll talk about that on Best Pro Wrestling Podcast a little bit later. But let's before we get into anything else, let's talk these G1 Climax these entrants and the blocks and these matches and everything going on there.
G1 Climax.
Best time of year.
It is, man.
Get to pull that classic out.
This is this is the tournament right here, and it starts in about a month from now, and the thing lasts about a month. Now, New Japan, if you're new to New Japan and the G1 Climax, you want to know what it is, this is the place to be. We'll tell you all about it. This is the New Japan puts singles matches on a premium. You don't get to see a lot of singles matches outside of title matches. Whenever you do see a singles match outside of a title match, it is considered a special singles match. So they save all the big singles matches for or just general singles matches for the big tournaments, the G1 Climax and the Best of Super Juniors tournament. So this is where you get a lot of key matchups, and what's really cool about it too is they all mean something because it's in a round robin tournament form. So you got 2 blocks, 10 guys in each block. So you got the A block and the B block, of course. A block. So every guy in the A block faces everybody else in the A block. So if you are a wrestler in the A block, you have 9 matches facing everybody else in that block. So your A block this year is Hiroshi Tanahashi, this is his 17th time in the tournament, 17 times in a row. The former ace of New Japan, of course, he's going to be in it. Surprise to me, but maybe not a surprise to a lot of other people. This next name, Togi Makabe. I did not have him on. I kind of had him as a bubble name or whatever, but just because he'd been in the tournament a lot in the last. Well, he's been in. This will be his 15th in a row for Togi.
Kind of need that big lug in there too to take the falls and beat up on the talent.
That's the thing, is you got to have guys that can take losses as well as get surprise.
Was it Nagata's year last year?
Right, Nagata. It was his last year.
Last year.
his last tournament was last year. And nobody has outright declared at this point that it's going to be like a Togi Makabe, for instance. He hasn't said that it's going to be his final year or anything like that. So nothing along the lines of a final year for a guy this year. But Makabe is a guy kind of in that role that Nagata was in last year. Michael Elgin, we talked about him just winning the Never Openweight Championship and then just losing it again this week. So we'll talk about that in a little bit here.
That makes me really excited.
This will be his fourth time, four times in a row in the tournament for Elgin. Kazuchika Okada, so we're going to get Okada Tanahashi at some point again, which is really cool. Jay White, this will be his first G1. He'll be taking on Kazuchika Okada at some point, so that's an interesting matchup there because it's the current U.S. champion, unless he loses it to Juice Robinson at the Cow Palace coming up. But those two, Okada and Jay White, both members of Chaos, and kind of the thing that Jay White's doing is causing chaos in chaos.
Yep.
So that's a story there. Yoshihashi, another Chaos member in there. Bad Luck Fale, he's been in this thing 5 times in a row. Again, he was a name kind of on the bubble for me, but he's been in it the last 5 years.
He's got some good shape, too. He's been working hard.
Yes.
Really good shape.
Lost a lot of weight, looking good, and look for him to have some upsets in this tournament as well. Hangman Page, he was a guy on the bubble for me, and he's making it into the tournament. So again, you're going to have Bullet Club versus Bullet Club here at some point. Hangman Page versus Bad Luck Fale. That's interesting. And then
Page against Okada is going to be interesting.
Yeah, Okada versus Tanahashi. There's some really good stuff in there for Hangman Page. Evil, of course, he's been in it the last couple of years. He'll be in it again here in the A block. Minoru Suzuki. This will be his 8th time in the tournament and only the second consecutive one. He was in it last year after spending some time in Noah the last couple of years before that. So there is your A block. Here is the B block now.
B block.
We got a lot of the B block is amazing this year. It's going to be really cool. Juice Robinson made it into the B block. We're going to talk
best block.
Yes, hashtag the best. We're going to talk a lot about Juice here from these Kizuna Roadshows. Cut some really cool promos going into this Jay White match. They got a nice little angle going on with his broken hand that they're working on for this match. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. Hirooki Goto, of course, just winning the Never title back from Michael Elgin. Interesting stuff. We'll get into that in a little bit here with what might be going on there with Goto winning that title back. Tomohiro Ishii in here. Of course, Goto and Ishii both in Chaos. Toru Yano, another Chaos member. Ishii and Yano have been tagging up together quite a bit over the last year, so those two will have to face off against each other. Kenny Omega, of course, the current champion, he's in the B block. Kota Ibushi, the other member of the Golden Lovers, he's in the B block. So we're going to get those two against each other. Tama Tonga, another Bullet Club guy in there. We'll get Kenny Omega versus Tama Tonga at some point here. Tetsuya Naito, of course, the current leader of Los Ingobernables. He has had the down year of all down years, losing losing at the Tokyo Dome.
We thought he was going to be on top.
Right. He's just
complete opposite.
He's lost and lost. Lost to Jericho. Lost to Zack Sabre Jr. in the
open title that he gave 0 fucks about.
Right.
That's the only thing he wanted.
So this is where the big story. This will be a big story in the tournament. Here is, can Tetsuya Naito make a big comeback here? He'll have to face Sonata, who's in that block with him, who's another member of Los Ingobernables, and finally Zack Sabre Sabre Jr. making it into that B block as well. So
you get that redemption win.
Yeah. Well, Zack Sabre just against all of those guys, your Gotos, Juice, Naito, of course, Naito looking for revenge against Zack Sabre, is a big story. Zack Sabre versus Kenny, that's something there. Who is going to, and then the other big story, who's going to get upsets against Kenny, or not even upsets, but who's going to get victories against Kenny Omega to where he'll have to defend the championship before the Tokyo Dome, or maybe even after the Tokyo Dome.
It's possible. That's anyone.
Right. So it's a really cool B block there. So some of these bubble names that I thought, Cody not being in is interesting to me because it was something that he's wanted to do. It was on his list of things to do outside of WWE, and 2 years in a row now he's not in. Now last year it was the story about him being the Ring of Honor championship. He's got the championship match coming up on the 29th at Best in the World in the 3-way with Marty Scurll and Dalton Castle. So as I ruled him out last week because I thought he was going to be in the G1 Climax, he's not in the G1 Climax, so I'm putting him back in as a possibility to win that championship.
For sure.
So there's
this
that.
Is a lot of time to be away from Ring of Honor, too.
Right. But, I mean, you've got, I guess the only other Ring of Honor guy you got in here is Hangman Page. So,
and his contract stuff's through them. New Japan's kind of the side piece,
right.
in his situation. So, maybe next year too.
And another kind of surprising name, but not entirely, is Tai Chi, who's been kind of on a little bit of a tear recently. They've been telling some stories with him just recently moving up to heavyweight from junior heavyweight. But like I said,
are you excited for Tai Chi in the G1 is the real question.
Well, he's not in. That's what I'm saying. He didn't make the cut, but it would have been interesting him kind of in that Yano role, the cheating guy that gets fluke wins here and there or whatever. But it didn't happen, so that's fine. It's one of those names again where the G1 is so crowded this year. We've got so many top guys. I think I had 15 guys as locks with Cody being one of them, but Cody not being in. But then again, you got a guy who's been in there a few years in a row, like a Tama Tonga, who I didn't expect to see in this year, but he's in it. He's another guy that can get some.
He's a wild card.
Interesting wins here and there along the way. So good stuff there. Yoshihashi being in again, not my favorite guy, but he usually always picks up one or two key wins. He's beaten Kenny Omega before in this thing and earned himself a championship shot.
The same block again too.
Right. So there's
with Juice and Omega.
Right. And Juice got the fluke win over Kenny Omega last year. So, again, are they going to get another key win there, or is it going to be somebody else? So, but yeah, it really feels at this point like it's going to be the Naito redemption story. But then again, you got Kota Ibushi in there, Zack Sabre, Okada himself, who just lost the championship on the other side of the block.
Well, and again, I know we'll get into it, but even just throwing in like Tanahashi, again, he's still got it. He's still got the fire, and him and Okada are one of the final nights.
Right, and that's key right there too, because I mean, somebody who I forget. Somebody on Twitter put up a poll of Japanese fans about who they voted, who they want to see win the tournament, and Tanahashi was right up there. I'm trying to think who was the other, and Kota Ibushi was right up at the top too. So not Naito. Naito was up there, but not at the very top of the voting. So interesting stuff there. So first couple of nights of the tournament, these are your key interesting matchups, your main events basically from the first couple of nights. Tanahashi versus Minoru Suzuki. That should just be a really, really good match between two amazing veterans, and the result there I think is going to be pretty key. Because getting early points in the tournament. I forgot I didn't mention the points system.
Doing the math. I don't know.
Well, basically, you get 2 points for a win and 1 point for a draw. So if they go to the 30-minute time limit, you get 1 point for each for the draw. 0 points, obviously, for a loss. So that's key as well, because we did have a big draw last year between Suzuki and Okada going the distance thereafter. Remember, Okada had he had a big loss. I think it was the loss to Kenny Omega, and then followed it up with the draw to Suzuki, or maybe it was the other way around. But there was a time late in the tournament last year.
The evil loss was late in the tournament.
Right. There was the evil loss, the loss to Kenny Omega, and then
they're in the same block together.
yeah, and then the draw with Suzuki. So again, with last year's tournament being so good, it was really, really good last year.
Where the fuck is Okada's mind going to be in this tournament?
Right, and
what if he just comes out and eats dick the whole tournament?
Or what if he's just dominant and goes on a tear? Who knows what's the Okada story going forward after losing the championship? And there's so many great questions coming out of this thing with what's the Okada story? What is the Kenny Omega story? What's going to happen with the Golden Lovers here? So that's your A block night 1. B block night 1. Kota Ibushi versus Zack Sabre Jr. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this other match from going back to night 1 in the A block. The main event, Okada versus Jay White. We were just talking about that a few minutes ago. Does Jay White upset the former champion here? Chaos versus chaos? Or is this where Okada starts his redemption story, getting a key victory early on? So that could be I think that might be an easy upset pick right there, with Jay White upsetting Okada. It could, especially now that Okada doesn't have the championship,
changes the story.
Especially two nights later, Okada has Bad Luck Fale, so boom, win, get the trust back from the people.
Right, but Okada versus Bad Luck Fale that's not necessarily a lock win for. You can't count Bad Luck Fale out in any of these matches. He could just go on a tear, hit that Bad Luck Fall and that fucking grenade, and rack up a couple of key interesting wins
faster
here.
Meaner too,
Right. So back to the B block in night 2.
He's only been fucking working out, tattooing his big fucking head. I love it.
Back to the B block now.
B block.
Kota Ibushi, Zack Sabre Jr. We're talking about that key matchup there. Going to be really, really good. Zack Sabre bringing that, that technical style, and Kota Ibushi with his high flying and his strikes and whatnot.
Sure, we got a little bit of Cruiserweight Classic in our hand.
Yeah. This will be again. This will be the they did this in last year's G1, and then did they meet again? Was that the that was they met in the New Japan Cup, and where Zack Sabre won, I believe.
He just tore through everyone.
Right, where Zack Sabre, tore through everybody, won the tournament, and had the match with Okada. I'm pretty sure that was their second meeting, because neither one of them have had a title yet. So, yeah, that would have been the second meeting between those. So here we go again, opening night for the B block. Then, really huge match here. Tetsuya Naito versus Kenny Omega, opening night. These two closed out the last couple of G1s. They were in the finals, I believe, 2 years ago. The one where Kenny won it, and then last year I believe they were also in the same block, and they were in the final night of block play, I believe, was when those two faced off, and when Naito went on and then went on to win the tournament. So those two being back-to-back G1 winners, and them two facing off early in the G1 here in the B block, I think that's a key thing there. We're just going to skip ahead to the last couple of nights of the tournament here. Second to last night.
Funny, I totally have last year's list over here.
Nice. Second to last night in the B block, Toru Yano versus Kenny Omega. The big rematch from. Now, the only reason I highlighted that one, because last year they had such an interesting match.
People hated it.
I think it was pretty well back. Some people hated it. Other people was like, well, that was really unique, and people were entertained by it.
It was fun.
It was fun.
People just looked at it. Oh, it's the waste of Kenny Omega. So I was like, no, he can laugh at himself. We need that.
Let them entertain.
So again, what are we going to do this year with those two? With Omega being the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, so that's a big question.
I hope he buys a DVD from him, VCD from him.
There you go. And then the main event from the penultimate B block night: Naito versus Sonata, LIJ versus LIJ. There. So then the final night of A block play.
A block.
Now, this is key because these are main events. These guys are, the way Gedo books these things means that these top 4 names here, these 2 main events are probably going to be in the running points-wise here towards the end of it. So Jay White versus Evil. Remember, Evil had a hell of a run last year. Jay White, with this being his first year in the tournament, he could have some key wins along the way, but I could kind of see him, not necessarily being in it points-wise at the end of it, but having some key wins along the way. So look for Jay White to maybe play Spoiler versus Evil there.
I'm hoping that Makabe just beats the living dog shit out of Elgin that final night.
There you go. And then the big main event from the last night on the A block is Tanahashi versus Okada.
Big one.
Yeah, I mean, Tanahashi is looking for a key victory over Okada here. Okada, putting Tanahashi away after the dominant performance last month, with going on to the record number of title defenses there. So Tanahashi really needing some momentum coming out of the G1 here. But then again,
I think he's going on tour with Fozzy soon.
Well, that was another name that we talked about last week. Jericho winning the Intercontinental Championship. It's kind of awkward not having the Intercontinental Champion in the tournament, but we again talked about it last week. Jericho is going on the big summer tour starting early in July, and he's going to be on tour all the way through the beginning of October.
Sidebar though on that real quick. I might have been last week, so it was a recent episode. I said that's what they kind of should do with that title. It's just focus on the United States title a little bit more. Bring that up a little bit. Get more prestige on that. And, if they gave more fucks about the Intercontinental Champion, I might be like, come on now. But, Christ, they fucking, after the belt broke, they barely wanted to even get a replacement championship. So it's just like, I don't think it'll hurt the title at all to kind of backburner it a little bit on Jericho and then bring it forth, let somebody win it, continue on, bring it back. It's going to be a big pop for when they see it again.
Yeah, I agree with you there, where when he finally comes back and, he's the IC champion, it's going to make people pop.
Not like what WWE is doing with like Lesnar and that shit. No, it's just that United States title, this juice hype is hyping it up right now. It's just, I'm looking forward to that fucking fight.
If Jericho holds the belt indefinitely for 2 years and only defends it, once or twice a year, then he'll have that. Then he might have that Lesnar heat. But as of this point, it's still a little bit novel. So yeah, Tanahashi is probably going to have a chance points wise to go all the way in the A block, as well as Okada, of course. But yeah, talking about the A block, I mean, really your biggest names to have a chance to win it besides Okada is Tanahashi. Evil's up there. Suzuki could be in it.
I thought
but
you would have gone for Yoshihashi.
No, I'm hoping Yoshihashi does the Nagata and goes winless, but I know that's not going to happen. I'm sure he'll get a couple.
I'm pretty sure on my bracket's going to be Elgin winless straight through.
I actually was thinking the same thing. I don't even care how much it hurts my bracket.
Well, don't make me pick some victories for Michael Elgin just so I can get the points edge over you guys. Damn it! Maybe
we each pick one win.
I'm sure he's probably going to get more than one win. Although it'll be interesting because it's really an interesting story with what they did with the Never belt, because I'm wondering if they got some blowback from the thing from American fans or whatever. We'll get into that here shortly.
We will.
But the final night for the B block, again, the B block is so loaded. Tetsuya Naito versus Zack Sabre Jr. So again, final night of the tournament. Zack Sabre getting that big push in the New Japan Cup, defeated Naito in the first round to move on in the New Japan Cup tournament. So Naito looking for revenge here. Final night of the tournament. So that's a big story there. And then,
yes, sir.
And then another huge story. Big implications, I imagine. Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega. The final night of B block action going into the finals. Oh my God, it's the Golden Lovers clashing.
You think that'll be exciting?
Nah.
Just maybe just a
little bit.
Maybe just a little bit. I don't know.
Hi.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously, Kota Ibushi being a big name. How far does Kenny go with the championship? Does Kota Ibushi upset him and go on to go to the finals here? What does Naito go to the finals? Sabre, with his push earlier in the year, he has a chance to go to the finals, of course, too. So, it's just going to be a lot of fun, this tournament. And so we're about a month away, so we got a month to think about this and stew over it, make our predictions. So that'll be a lot.
That's not how I'm going to do it.
How are you going to do it?
Well, I've already picked night 1 and night 2 just on my schedule here, so I'm ready to go.
All right, Joe's got it figured. Well, who are you guys feeling? Just off the top of your head right now, who do you think is going to win the whole thing at this point? To me, it really feels like it's the Naito redemption story. That'd be my pick at this point. But where are you guys leaning on this thing?
Well, and I like your idea with the Naito redemption story added with Tanahashi's redemption story facing each other. Would that be? I'm just making sure they're not in the same block here.
No, you're right. Yeah,
yeah, but them facing in the finals, that's a big deal. You get Tanahashi in the finals. He beat, got his way to the finals, and then you got Naito. And again, with his redemption story, I think Naito takes the win again.
Yeah, that would be an interesting matchup, too, because there's not a ton of history between Tanahashi and Naito, but there is some. I mean, they had the big match at Dominion last year where Tanahashi beat Naito with that fucking, not the Boston Crab, but the basically like the Walls of Jericho thing made him tap out to the, and so
brought that prestige back. The hero came
and he
in.
won that. That was when Tanahashi won the busted up Intercontinental Championship from Naito as well. So Naito's looking for a little.
Also,
bit of
that could all
revenge
change because again, I'm gonna go through this thing.
Well, again, I'm just saying off the top of your head.
What
are you feeling? What do you think, Taco?
Yeah, the big story is just kind of between Okada and Naito. Walking into Wrestle Kingdom to go for that championship. So much can happen between August and January too, so it's just tough. But yeah, I'm between those two at the moment myself.
Yeah, and the more I think about it too, I'm liking this Ibushi storyline here with what's going on with the Golden Lovers and the Bullet Club and all that. So
in that sense, I would almost feel like it would be like a Omega winning it and then challenging Ibushi, so the Lovers headline a Wrestle Kingdom kind of sense.
That'd be interesting, but it'd be out of character to have, certainly in recent years, to have the champion win the tournament. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's not like they haven't done it before, too. So
that's what I'm curious. Like, what if Omega? Like, what does Omega gain out of this? Who does he challenge? Who does he want to go into Wrestle Kingdom with? Okada again?
I mean, that would be a historic matchup. Their fifth match.
Just kind of like, hey, you gave me the crack. It's my, my I'm returning the favor to you, Okada. Come, come try to get your championship back because it's mine, bitch.
Well, it could either be that or somebody that had beat him in the tournament. Mm-hmm. Had he lost a key match here or there, but goes on to win the tournament.
I'm kind of curious about the Ibushi. If Ibushi beats him here too, that's a fucking title defense in October.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, well, we got some time, like I said, to think about it and stew over it. So it'll be a lot of fun going forward. All right, let's talk these Kizuna Roadshows from over the weekend here. Three three shows at Korakuen Hall. I often try to remind new fans. They're like, "Where's the Raw and SmackDown? Where's the weekly show?" They don't really have that. But these Kizuna Roadshows are kind of like your Raw and SmackDown for New Japan. We did have a couple of nice main events and a bunch of tag matches building up to stuff that's coming up. So I don't have full results here, and I didn't get a chance
to go back to the G1 all in English every night too.
Oh yes, that is a good point to bring up. I forgot about that.
Really awesome.
Every show is going to be live, which is key, and every show is going to have English commentary. That's for the first time ever. Last year they had full production for the entire tournament. I'm not sure if each show was live, but they could have been. But in the past, it's been more like what they've done with the Best of Super Juniors this year, where some of the middle shows were just single hard cam shows,
which I love.
No commentary, stuff like that. So we're going to get full production and full English commentary for every show.
Fun.
So that's a good key thing there too, for especially for some new fans. So anyway, Kizuna Road.
Bless you.
I didn't see all of it, but I got the key stuff. I saw all the main events, and actually saw most of the stuff from the first two nights. I missed more of stuff from the third night, but
that was the big was it Mighty Machine?
Super
strong
machine retirement ceremony, which was and the final match for that was kind of fun here.
It was fun, yeah. I got right in time on that, where everyone's making their entrance, and kind of skimmed over my head at first. I was like, wait a minute. That's oh shit, and it started clicking in my head who was who. This is early in the morning. I'm watching it too, by the way.
Well, right. And in retrospect, last week when I was going through the lineup and looking at it, it was like Super Strong Ace. Well, of course that's fucking Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Right?
Super Strong 69. Well, of course that's fucking Taguchi.
That's exactly what I was like. Oh, duh.
Right. I felt like an idiot because like, oh, well, of course.
It threw me up when Tenzan walked by. Though I was just like, oh yeah, let's get all these old timers back, give them one last shoot, and then they're wrestling back and forth, and oh yeah, 16, yeah, okay.
Super Strong,
then it started coming.
Super Strong Justice is Yuji Nagata out there in a fucking
blue unitard,
blue unitard with the blue mask and everything. So yeah, they all had the Super Strong style single strap singlet basically. It
was fun,
and the matching masks. And Super Strong Machine, who actually retired several years ago, was sitting ringside for that big main event.
Looking jacked as fuck too.
Yeah, and it was a 10-man tag. They took on LIJ. It was a fun match. I believe the Strong Machines did get the win there. I think they're over Bushi probably, something like that. So
they did that giant fucking suplex spot too.
Right,
that was super fun.
The 10-way suplex. Yeah,
it was good. Check
again,
out.
yeah, nothing too crazy on these shows, but some fun stuff along the way. First two nights of these shows, the opening match were the two newest young lions, Yuya Uemura and Yota Tsuji, going to 10-minute draws both times.
Yeah, isn't this there's fucking stories? It's nonstop, just draws between the two.
Yeah, basically they're.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean the idea with the way they book the young lions is. When it's young lion on young lion, the more experienced young lion gets the win. Well, these two debuted the same day, so they just been going to 10-minute draws. So it's going to be
they need to do that their entire young boy career.
Well, exactly. Their young boy career, they're going to do that, and then when they come back from their excursion in a few years or whenever they do that, it's whoever's more over, whoever's gained that momentum. There's an interesting story about that going into the night too. Hiromu versus El Desperado, because they've only had one match against each other as Hiromu Takahashi and El Desperado. But when they were both young lions, they had all kinds of matches, and El Desperado, before he was El Desperado, when they were young lions, was undefeated against Hiromu. So Hiromu had never beaten El Desperado, and so Hiromu with the championship.
He even chased him to Mexico to beat him and couldn't even do that.
Right. So Hiromu getting the win here was a big story in that lineage. Of course, I wish I had been there to see Hiromu as a young lion and El Desperado. And a cool moment in the match, too, since we're just kind of skipping around here, but whatever, who cares? Hiromu pulls the mask off of El Desperado. And remember, we had the match just a couple of weeks ago where Dragon Lee just fucking tears the mask of El Desperado up, and he's trying to cover his face, and he's trying to pull this busted-ass mask back up, trying to cover up so nobody can see. He's got the makeup on. He's got hair. His hair is in his face. But this was really interesting because Desperado has a new mask with like an open back on it. So
like a Rey Mysterio almost.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got these cornrows in his hair. So if the mask comes off, the hair is going to be tied back. And at one point, Hiromu just grabs the fucking mask, tears it off, and it doesn't tear it, but pulls it off of his head. So the mask is intact, but laying there on the ground. And Desperado he gets Hiromu out of the way and just casually, throws his hair back. Everyone can see his fucking face.
You can see the moment where he just said, fuck it.
Yeah.
Reveal my face. Fucking this championship on the line. It was great.
But it was that moment to where, that is the guy that Hiromu would always lose to when they were young lions. And he just bends over, grabs the mask, casually puts it back on, and then they carry on with the match. So, but that was just a really interesting little story there.
I'm watching this in public. I'm just, holy shit.
Well, and then you got the deal too, where you've got the mask versus mask match coming up at some point between Desperado and Dragon Lee, because they were tearing up each other's masks in that last match that they had. So they're going to do that at some point. Does Desperado lose and go without the mask? Who knows? So
it's fun though. Like again, I love that the mask stuff is making kind of a comeback because I love the culture behind it,
for sure.
The respect behind behind it, to like technically when they come out and they reveal themselves to you, that's a respect sign that they're showing to the fans sometimes. So I like to see that.
Yeah, it was just so played because it's like you could not get away with a spot like that, in like a tournament position or anything. No, the fucking championship is on the line against your fucking rival. Just the shock. Yeah, it was great. I fucking watch that match. Watch it.
Yeah,
all their fucking matches.
The shenanigans with the. You're talking about the Dragon Lee factor.
Oh no, just Hiromu and Desperado.
Yeah.
Just their fucking stories they've been telling. It's been so fucking fun and just awesome.
Yeah, and
just getting them fucking wrestling each other again, just right after the tournament. With Hiromu coming off that championship, it's like fuck, we're doing this again. And, Hiromu trying to go for that same fucking spot. Going for that running drop kick and just getting smashed in midair. Like, I just love that.
Hiromu brought this guitar case to the ring, and it's got
flowers,
these grody looking flowers. They look like they were half dead in the guitar case. He tries to give the flowers to Desperado at the beginning. Desperado's not having it. Fucking ruins the flowers. Grabs the guitar case. That's in play before the bell. They're knocking each other out with the fucking guitar case. And Hiromu takes the fight up in the stands. Akorikan does the huge running drop kick, but then gets fucking wiped out with the guitar case. So that was craziness there. The other cool thing about this is in the hype for the match with Will Ospreay and Hiromu, it was the press conference setting with the president in the middle or whatever, and Hiromu was like, that video that you play before the heavyweight championship match with the music, the da 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 da, and he's making this, doing the fake music with his mouth and whatever. He's like, and they show all the past champions. That makes the championship feel really special. How come we don't do that for the junior heavyweight belt? We should do that. And he says, we'll take it under consideration. And boom, they did it here before this match. So that was it would have
been great if you said duly noted.
But that was a cool thing that they did in here too. After the match, Hiromu does challenge Dragon Lee, who he did lose to in the Best of Super Juniors again. So, and they have the long storied history there. So that'll be the next match for Hiromu at some point going forward. We don't know if it's going to be the Cow Palace or some other show down the line. We don't have nothing's been announced for that one yet. So good stuff there. Back to what we were talking about at the beginning with Uemura versus Tsuji. The first 10-minute draw looked like Uemura was kind of getting the advantage there towards the end of the match. But then the second match on the second night, Tsuji just dominates the entire fucking match. He's got him in leg locks. He's doing these step over toe holds, fucking twisting him up. Just dominates him with working over the leg. And then that one goes to a 10-minute draw night too, but it was Uemura's hanging in there trying to make little comebacks, but Tsuji's just dominate with that leg work, which was a cool little story there. Jeff Cobb did return for some tag matches here along the way. Got a couple of got a key win in a tag match night one, which led to the story that came up at the end of the night where Goto defeated Elgin to get the Never Openweight Championship back, and then after the match,
which taking out the Elgin aspect of it I thought was a good move because it is kind of wonky booking to have a guy win and lose it the next night. But I liked that Elgin didn't beat Goto, and then Goto was like, "Nope, that is my championship," and got it right back right away. I loved that. I liked it.
Yeah, because the way Elgin won it by pinning Tai Chi or whatever. But again, I'm wondering if New Japan didn't hear a bunch of blowback from Western fans. Why are we booking this guy? Or is it just a case of, we want to have the Never Openweight Championship match at the Cow Palace, but we're not going to book Michael Elgin in the Cow Palace because we know it's not going to go well.
Yeah. Either way, it doesn't matter.
So, and another thing here, it's well documented. I'm not a fan of Goto. He just doesn't do much for me. And again, this match was all about fucking Michael Elgin again. Michael Elgin, he shined. Like, Goto's best matches are where his opponent looks good. Like Goto and Suzuki at the Tokyo Dome. It was all about Suzuki beating the shit out of Goto. Same thing here. It was Elgin. Goto pulls it out in the end. So Goto just has another uninteresting match for him. And Elgin, whatever. I can't get into Elgin just because I can't, because fuck that guy. So I just is what it is. So after the match, earlier in the night.
Where you at?
Jeff Cobb.
Jeff Cobb.
Earlier in the night, Jeff Cobb got a victory in in his tag match or whatever. So he comes out to check on Elgin after the match. Again, they have the history tagged in last year's World Tag League. So there's that. He comes out, checks on Elgin, and challenges Goto for the Never Openweight Championship.
Nice.
So again, we don't know if we're getting that at the Cow Palace or not, but that should be a lot of fun.
Makes sense too if they did it out there.
It definitely would, and Jeff Cobb would be over like Rover, I think, with the New Japan crowd at the Cow Palace too. So
absolutely,
there is that. We talked about Hiromu and El Desperado. Okay, the Jay White and Juice situation is really good. They've been building this up in tag team matches or whatever along these nights. First night, I forget what happens in the match. It doesn't really matter. But after the match, they're brawling. Jay White attacks him. Jay White goes to put Juice's fingers in the chair and then goes to smash it with another chair. He escapes, but then goes to punch Jay White with his signature left-handed punch, but then Jay White holds up a chair and he punches the chair.
Smart.
So that fucks up his hand. And then Juice cuts this amazing fucking promo after the match where he thinks his hand is broken.
What's that look like to you? What's that look like to you?
Showing the reporters the broken hand.
Definitely not a doctor. But that's a broken metacarpal. That's what that is.
Definitely.
That's a broken metacarpal. Okay, Jay, guess what? I got 206 bones, motherfucker. 206, I think. I might be wrong. Good thing I don't have Twitter so nobody can let me know. Yeah, 206 bones, you broke one. I still got 205. I know what you're doing. I never said you weren't smart. You're smart. And you're a badass. You know that's how I win my matches. I punch motherfuckers in the jaw, and then I hit them with Pulp Friction. Well, it doesn't look like I'm going to be hitting Pulp Friction anytime soon. After a left hand, anyways. Guess what, dumbass? I've rolled up Kenny Omega. I've rolled up Big Mike Elgin. I can roll a motherfucker up just like I can hit him with the left hand of God and hit him with Pulp Friction. You're smart, Jay, but your heart and your nuts, they're little small, shriveled up pieces of shit. I'm all heart and nuts. Heart in one, broken hand, nuts in the other, motherfucker. San Francisco? Whoo, San Francisco. I'm an American. That's an American belt. It's in America on America's birthday. You ain't an American. Kenny Omega, no offense, you're not an American too. You know who needs that belt? An American. Guess what? I'm next in line. I'm going to be coming into San Francisco, red, white, and blue, sparklers shooting out of my nipples, and launching bald eagles out of my ass. That's right. Jay, I can fuck with you just like you fuck with me. All right? Yeah. Oh, Juicy's flamboyant. He wears rainbows, and he hops around and acts like an asshole. Well, guess what? I like whooping motherfuckers' asses, too. All right? You want me to grab a chair? You want me to grab a chair and start swinging it around? Huh? I'll see you in San Francisco. And you know what? I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, Mata Ashita, motherfucker. Mata Asate, motherfucker. Mata Shiasate, motherfucker. I'm going to see you all over Japan before we step foot in San Francisco. And when we do, I am going to whoop your ass. And I will take that U.S. championship.
So there are no more...
yeah.
There are no more NJPW World matches between now and the Cow Palace, but the tour does roll on in Japan as house shows. So they're going to be taking this little show on the road.
Got that little CEO show coming up too.
Got the CEO show, but I don't know if these guys are on there. We'll get to that in a minute because I do have that card up there too. But nothing else on NJPW World until the Cow Palace, I believe. So there is that. But so that was night one. Night two, Jay White does the same thing, but this time he actually does hit the chair, busting his fingers up pretty bad. Night 3, he's got his hand all casted up or whatever, and the ref says no hitting him in the hand, no attacks on the hand. His hand's busted up. Well, Jay White later in the match hits him in the hand, fucking him up some more. Anyway, the last night, the promo from the last night is pretty good too, but on a different level. It's like he's like despondent. He's like, man, I'm just a loser. I fuck up and I can't get any momentum. I'm gonna fucking lose at the Cow Palace. He's like despondent. It's like the opposite of this promo, but it's still like it's that. He's like, man, I get some momentum and I break my fucking hand. God damn it, I just can't fucking win. He's way down. So I love the up and
Juice.
Down. You're rooting for the guy. So yeah, I'm digging what Juice is dishing out there. So that's pretty much what happened on your Kizuna Roadshows. Your more interesting stuff. Let's take a look at that CEO thing you were just talking about here. Again, this is the Kenny Omega special. This is at the CEO fighting game. Yep. Convention that's happening. I believe where's it? Florida? I didn't think I wrote it down on there.
Somewhere with nice weather.
Somewhere over there anyway. So nothing huge on these shows, but some, it'll be a fun show. I believe they're going to be streaming it on Twitch.
Okay.
So at least I'm pretty sure I saw that. So Jeff Cobb versus Chase Owens on the show. Jushin Thunder Liger versus Rocky Romero. Again, this is happening on the 29th, the same night as Best in the World from Ring of Honor. So you got to kind of pick your poison here. Roppongi 3K is going to take on Dragon Lee and Taguchi. That should be fun.
Oh, why not?
We are going to have Juice on this tour. Juice and David Finlay teaming up against the Gorillas of Destiny. So no Jay White stuff here. But and then the big main event is going to be the Golden Lovers, Ibushi and Kenny Omega versus Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi. Nice. So that should be pretty darn good there. And again, getting to see that rare matchup of Takahashi and Omega and Takahashi and Kota Ibushi too is kind of a cool story there. So again, that's the same night as Best in the World. So we'll have to play a pick'em there, I guess. But yeah,
just fucking watch them both.
So let's see here. So yeah, again, not a ton going on in New Japan for a couple of weeks here. So we get the on the 29th, we got the CEO show, and then the Strong Style Evolved shows are that same weekend as well. On the 30th and July 1st are the two Strong Style Evolved UK shows where they're doing the thing with Rev Pro, and that's where you're going to get the singles match between Minoru Suzuki and Tomohiro Ishii that they've been building up as well on these Kizuna Road shows. And we're going to get a tag team title match between Yano and Ishii and the tag champs over there, Zack Sabre and Minoru Suzuki. So it's interesting because Ishii has the Rev Pro Championship, so that's what the singles match is going to be for with Suzuki. But then Suzuki and Zack Sabre have the tag titles, and so they're going to be taking on Ishii and Yano on those shows. So you could have titles switch
Sabre
both
lost
sides.
That title to Ishii.
Right, Sabre lost the championship to Ishii right before he signed with New Japan full time. So it's interesting. He sides with New Japan full time, goes and loses these championships to other New Japan guys or another New Japan guy, it was funny or whatever. But so that's what's going on that weekend. We'll talk more about those shows next week, as it'll be a preview or whatever.
That's a sign he's winning the whole G1.
That could be. You never know. So let's move on. Let's talk some Ring of Honor. So we had a couple of the Honor Club Ring of Honor shows from this weekend, which were really hard to get in. The Friday night one was easy to get in because there wasn't a lot going on. But then starting Saturday, there was just way too much other fucking wrestling going on. I was only able to check out the main event there, but I got results anyway from that. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about Ring of Honor TV, because this was taped, it feels like eons ago.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
It was taped.
It was fun to watch, but it was painful to watch.
Well, it was a decent episode, but Taco and I had seen it because we were there in person.
It's just the entrances with the championships and the knowledge day. It was like, that's painful. Like,
right. Evil and Sonata coming out with the tag championship belts when the Young Bucks are now the tag champions.
Hiromu with no gold.
Right. This was taped before the Best of Super Juniors. That sounds like a year ago.
Naito's still champion.
Yeah, Naito was still, but he didn't come out with the belt.
Lack of belts.
But he never comes out with the belt. But yeah, Naito was still champion at that time.
Like, wow, so much changed, and eons ago.
Right, but it was only like 6 weeks ago or whatever. So, but yeah, so that was interesting. So that was the big main event, of course, was Los Ingobernables versus the Bullet Club. Cody, the Young Bucks, Marty Scurll, and Adam Page. And they've been what they're doing is building up Cody and Marty Scurll for the match with Dalton Castle, the three-way at Best in the World. And so we had a little bit of a dissension between those two. Scurll accidentally hits Cody with the umbrella late in the match. But it was, they do get the Meltzer driver on Bushi, the Young Bucks do, and get the big win in the end. But this was your fun Young Bucks style match.
Yep.
You get your key Los Ingobernables spots. Naito doing the Tranquilo early in the match, popping the crowd like crazy. I mean, we were there. It was a lot of fun fucking seeing Los Ingobernables live like that. Big 10-way brawl in the middle of the thing.
It was fun rewatching it. It shows you how painful those TV tapings can be, though. That's
right.
Oh, God, it really stuck out. Like, yeah, maybe if one guy, lost maybe if Evil and Sonata lost the championships, it wouldn't have been noticeable, but every single member, excluding Bushi,
right. Yeah, it's
that was rough.
Yeah, it's interesting in that regard. I mean, especially when they also had a TV taping 2 weeks ago that they're finally going to start playing next week, which is the go home for Best in the World, because they got next week's TV, and then the weekend after that is Best in the World, but they'll have a TV show that weekend as well. But it probably won't be hyping anything for Best of the World, since Best in the World will air Friday night, and then the TV show drops on Saturdays usually for the Sinclair affiliates anyway. But yeah, again, a fun match, but yeah, it felt very dated at this point. Other stuff on the show, Shane Taylor versus Josh Woods. This was a decent match here. Shane Taylor winning with a knockout punch with his right hand or whatever. A nice little backstory here with Josh Woods getting kind of the upset against Shane Taylor with the King Mo distraction from the Honor Club show that happened, a couple of weeks before this TV taping. So it was nice tying in that storyline, but then Shane Taylor getting the win there. The Briscoes cutting a promo on the farm about the Young Bucks. That was pretty good there. Typical Briscoes promo, just talking ish and calling out the Young. They're saying, you guys are the best in the world at selling T-shirts and making YouTube videos, but we're the best wrestlers in the world, best tag team in the world. So fun stuff there. Kenny King versus
Haha Glendix.
I put, the fuck is his name? C. Taylor?
Who did he fight? Oh, Chucky T.
Oh, Chuck Taylor. I'm like, who's C. Taylor? I thought it was Shane Taylor. Yeah, Chuck Taylor. Chucky T, of course. Who the fuck is C. Taylor? Yeah, Kenny King gets the win with the Royal Flush.
That's why he's still on the Indies.
They're taking selfies with the crowd. Kenny King getting the win. Interesting here, but it seems kind of strange here. We don't have. We'll get into what happened here this weekend on Honor Club, because it really plays into what's going here with the TV title, because it kind of feels like they're building with this TV title situation with Austin Aries basically got screwed out of the TV title with the match with Silas Young. He's got beef to say he was screwed because Todd Sinclair came down and reversed the decision because he saw the skullduggery. He made the right call, but Austin Aries has reason.
Fuck that. He did some bullshit.
Straight up bullshit.
Austin Aries has a reason for a gripe here. Kenny King does, I guess, as well, because Austin Aries kicked him in the nuts even after helping him out by chasing.
Ding ding.
But but it was Kenny King that chased off the Beer City Bruiser, who came out with the skullduggery in the match and stuff there. So it was
skullduggery.
Whatever. So there's a story here between Austin Aries, Kenny King, and the last real man, Silas Young. But then what happened on Honor Club this weekend, night 2, Punishment Martinez wins the fucking TV title. So, I wanted to talk about these Honor Club shows. These were good shows this week. I mean, in comparison with how the TV feels dated, these feel like, I don't know, like
I think they really need to
fresh.
take advantage of these. It's their best opportunity to really stay consistent, and fresh and current.
And these felt relevant.
And they're always going on tour. They got a great, stack of talent. As I was saying earlier, I'm guessing that's the reason why Cody can't do a G1 is because he's with Ring of Honor. That's where the
he's got to headline these Honor Club shows.
Is. So it's just like just to be gone and over in Japan for 2-3 months almost. It's
a month, but yeah. Well, and again, they could put the belt on him at Best in the World. I kind of ruled him out.
The only thing that was consistent this week with Ring of Honor TV and current Ring of Honor product is Dalton Castle being injured.
Yeah,
that sucks to say, but it's just like I've been defending him as much as I can, but I'm already to the point where hey, get it off of him. I want to see someone. I want to see something with it at this point. It's very minimal. I get he's injured and everything, but him coming back to do a triple threat match, where it's like, yeah, cool. I kind of want you on the back burner to heal.
Right? Yeah,
I want him healthy. He has a bright future.
I will honestly be surprised if Dalton Castle keeps the championship, just because it sounds like the injuries are piling up, and he's not able to perform and be the champion that they would want him to be at this point. And quite frankly, even when he was performing as champion, for me, I said it over and over on the show. He just didn't feel like a championship material guy. He didn't feel like a main event guy. So I really think it's probably going to Cody, and it certainly could, go to Marty Scurll as well here, but at Best in the World. But we'll get to our Best in the World predictions next week for sure, because that'll be coming up next week. But yes, these Honor Club shows, these state-of-the-art shows from Texas over the weekend, they felt relevant. They felt like TV shows. Again, the matches themselves were predictable, but they were good matches, and they showcased the talent of Ring of Honor. So let's talk about that Punishment Martinez win from night 2. I thought it was really interesting. So they did what was called, I don't even know what it was called. It was like this six-way scramble, instant gratification TV title situation.
Sounds delicious.
It was a one fall to a finish match with Silas Young, Hangman Page, Scorpio Sky, Cheeseburger, Jonathan Gresham, and Punishment Martinez. So if anybody pinned. Well, whoever got the pin in the match would get an instant title match for the TV title versus Silas Young. Unless Silas Young won the match, then nobody gets a TV title.
See, I would have loved that.
So, and you had to tag in to be legal, but it was also lucha rules. So if somebody went out of the ring, somebody could just come in and instantly be legal. So this was a fun match. Punishment Martinez gets the win with the South of Heaven chokeslam on Cheeseburger. The story of the match here was Punishment Martinez and Adam Page wanting to get at each other, but because of the lucha rules and other people diving in and attacking, they're getting in the way of each other basically. But then it was Hangman Page hit the rite of passage on Cheeseburger, I believe. Cheeseburger right at the end of the match. But then Martinez comes in, curb stomps Adam Page, and then hits the South of Heaven chokeslam on Cheeseburger, gets the win, and then has the match right away with Silas Young. And yes, Punishment Martinez got the surprise victory with the ripcord kick and the South of Heaven chokeslam, and he's your new television champion.
So now,
why not?
So now the question is Punishment versus Hangman. I keep wanting to say Hangman Page when he's trying to drop the Hangman thing and just go by Adam Page. So I keep getting hung up in the middle of Adam Page.
Is he officially trying to get rid of Hangman?
I think so, because Hangman just has such a bad. It brings up bad thoughts and bad. It's just bad.
I just think of Western.
Yeah, I really don't think of anything bad about it. I know it's bad, but I don't know.
I've always liked it. Drop the rope.
With him coming out with the bandana and kind of the get up, cowboy get up. I'm thinking more of a Western. I
want him to be like throwback. I want him to be Adam the Lariat Page or something.
But in this day and age, too, it is about selling yourself, and obviously they're doing really well with that. but how far do you really want to go with it, too?
Yeah.
So I see that.
So the question now is the Page versus Martinez match at Best in the World for the TV title.
I hope so.
I would believe so.
They have not announced anything with Austin Aries yet. We've got 7 matches announced for Best in the World right now, so that's a good enough card. So we don't necessarily need Austin Aries in there for that at this point anyway. So I guess we will wait and see. So going back to night 1 of this thing, again, nothing really completely unpredictable here, but good matches. Taven and Vinny Marseglia opened up.
Mad props to those two guys for starting that and ending that fucking show.
Right, because the Briscoes had travel issues, couldn't make it to the show. So Matt Taven and Vinny Marseglia opened and closed the show. They beat the boys in the opener.
Hilarious opener, too.
And actually, I didn't get a chance to see the opener. I tuned in a little bit late. I just got the
fucking stage setup was so interesting because I don't know if they had to go out in the crowd and to the seats and stuff. I forget where they said it was at, but
well, this one was in San Antonio. I don't remember what the building was, but
might have been the Aztec Theater or something like that. But yeah, fucking there's plenty of space for Vinny to run around and rip one of the boys down, and the boy comes out in the fucking yellow raincoat covered in blood, like from it and everything.
Yeah, this was the one where there was the stage, but then like the ring was on this platform in front of the stage.
People are walking up like neck level and everything. It was interesting.
Right? Yeah, there were people like there was this gap in between like the stage and where the guard railing was, and there were like security people standing in this gap, and you could just see these heads sticking out of this gap. It's like that's a weird play. That's a weird gap. And so I'm guessing there was like a ramp there or a slope because it's a theater situation, and there's usually seats there. So they built this thing to put the ring on so that the ring is flat, but there's still like this weird slope. Yeah, you're right. It was an interesting
it was
setup.
Perfect for Vinny to play around in like a fucking shark. I thought it was a great way to open up the show.
They beat the boys down after the match, and they put themselves into the main event, the big 8-man tag match at the end of the show. That one was Marseglia and Taven teaming up with the Killer Elite Squad versus Marty Scurll, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks. Really fun. Your typical Young Bucks Young Bucks style 8-man tag. Just a really fun match. Page gets the win over Vinny Marseglia. They do the triple assist rite of passage. Basically your Meltzer driver style, Indie Taker style thing, but with him, Hangman Page doing the rite of passage in the middle of the ring, getting the win there. But yeah, crazy fun match there. Flip Gordon versus Rhett Titus. Flip gets the win there. A good match. Again, you would expect Flip to get the win. He does, and it was good. Sumi Sakai and Tennille Dashwood versus Kelly Klein and Thunder Rosa. Decent women's match. Sumi Sakai gets the win with Smash Mouth over Thunder Rosa. Jay Lethal versus TK O'Ryan.
Yeah, man.
This was an unexpectedly good match as well. Jay Lethal, of course, gets the win here, but TK O'Ryan getting some interesting like Big Cass style chants from the crowd because he's kind of got that similar look, but like a skinnier Big Cass. So people are chanting, "You can't teach that," and things like that at TKO. Who knows? Maybe we'll get a Big Cass sighting at a Ring of Honor show.
No way, man. Main event, New Japan.
Who knows?
Insert himself right into that.
SCU took on CMLL here. It was Atlantis, Guerrero Maya Jr. and Stuka Jr. Another good match. The CMLL guys get kind of an upset victory here, a surprising victory, but they're taking on the Kingdom the next night for the 6-man titles. So this was a credibility building victory for them. Silas Young versus Kurt Stallion. Kurt Stallion was a Future of Honor guy. I believe he was like a top prospect tournament guy or something. Just skinny indie guy. Goes to shake Silas Young's hand at the beginning of the match. Silas Young's like, no, fuck you. Who the fuck are you? And then they have this really good match. Of course, Silas wins. And then after the match, he's down there. This Stallion guy's on the ground selling, getting his ass kicked. And then Silas Young grabs his hand and shakes his hand like, now you've earned my respect, you jerk, because you had a decent match with me. So that was a fun one. Hurricane Helms, Cheeseburger, and Delirious taking on Bully Ray, Punishment Martinez, and Shane Taylor.
That seems like one-sided.
You don't say. Yeah, South of Heaven chokeslam gets the win over Delirious in that match. Again, it's everything you expect. Silliness out of Delirious. Fun spots from Cheeseburger. Hurricane Helms in there doing his thing, of course. But
did he land any choke slams is the question.
He did on the second night. But again, I didn't.
So, yeah.
He did night 2, but I don't remember if he hit one night 1.
There's so much wrestling happening.
Punishment Martinez won with the South of Heaven chokeslam on that one. And then Cody versus Jonathan Gresham, a similar story to the Silas Young and Kurt Stallion and Jay Lethal TK Orion match. Again, you expect Cody to win, but it was a really good, fun match. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Gresham got over like a big time with the crowd in the match. And so, again, a good match. And then we talked about that main event already. So,
good shows.
Yep, good stuff from night 1. Night 2, Tennille Dashwood beat Thunder Rosa. The Young Bucks beat the Boys in a tag match. Sounded like that one. I didn't see that one, but it sounds like that they had some fun with that match there. The Kingdom did defeat Team CMLL this time to retain their 6-man championship. Shut up, you Melvin.
Sick burn.
Marty Scurll won a 3-way with Flip Gordon and Jay Lethal. Flip ends up tapping out to the crossface chicken wing after a superplex, and then after the match, Bully Ray comes out and attacks Flip Gordon after to continue to build up to that story at Best in the World. Then Hurricane Helms and Delirious defeat the Addiction, SCU, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. So this time it was Hurricane Helms with the Hurra Choke Slam over Christopher Daniels.
Damn.
After there was some skull. So he's teaming up with Delirious here. At one point, Delirious ducks under the ring, and a little person dressed as Delirious comes into the ring and starts going off and running wild. And then the little Delirious goes back under the ring. Big Delirious comes back out and does more stuff in the match. And then Hurricane Helms goes on to get the victory over Daniels. Little Delirious comes out to celebrate with Big Delirious at the end of the match. And now SCU is all pissed off and upset. Oh, see, it was a different guy. It's that he didn't magically transform under the ring. This is bullshit. This is skullduggery. I'm not going to stand for this nonsense. Skullduggery. So they gripe about that after the match. Then it was the main event. Oh, no, sorry. And then Cody versus Shane Taylor. Cody got the win with a roll-up after the ref bump and more skullduggery. And then this one there was a bit of odd psychology here. Earlier in the night, Shane Taylor and Cody did this promo where Cody was, the biggest heel that ever was, and Shane Taylor, who's a Texas guy, was the big babyface. I guess in the match, Shane Taylor's doing all this heel shit, and Cody's getting sympathy on him and shit like that. So the psychology's all over the place. And then they do the ref bump and the skullduggery, but then Cody gets the win with the roll-up. So who knows what to believe with what they're doing with those guys. Then the main event was that TV title situation that we talked about with Punishment Martinez getting the big win, TV title there. So yeah, cool. I like that they're making these Honor Club shows feel relevant. When you throw a TV title change in here, it makes them really better than the TV show. Actually,
but now we're at fucking the next 3-4 weeks of Silas Young coming out with the TV title.
Right, because all that was taped beforehand. So
yes, it was.
So very quickly, Honor Club being the more credible storytelling device than Ring of Honor TV. They really got to figure out a better way to just make this jive.
The TV taping setup is not bad, but maybe cut off an hour, making it exclusive, you're there kind of thing. You got 2 hours to work with for 2 weeks of product. You got another fucking 3 days tour to throw on Honor Club. Next week after that, you're fucking doing a TV taping for 2 weeks.
Well, one thing I will say is that they're making the best of a bad situation, and the TV shows have been good recently. They've been entertaining matches on the TV shows, and I think this may be generating some interest for Honor Club. And then when you have titles changing hands on these Honor Club shows, it's like, well, I could fork over $9.99 to watch these more relevant shows with better wrestling on them, even though some of it might be kind of predictable, but you're still going to get some good matches and see people coming up and stuff like that. So, all right, before we get out of here, let's do the Kojima tweet.
Now it's time for the Satoshi Kojima Tweet of the Week.
He's not doing a lot of tweeting in English, but he is keeping us posted on his rehab of his busted up knee. Follow Kojima on Twitter at cozy_lariat. Good morning. Japan has passed 5 o'clock in the morning. I rehabilitate the knees every day. I like pro wrestling, therefore I want to therefore I want to live. Let's eat bread, baby.
Yes, baby.
Yeah, baby.
So follow me on Twitter at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Make sure you check out our other podcast at BPW Podcast, the best pro wrestling podcast. Go to bestprowrestlingpodcast.com. Find it wherever you find your podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe to this show. Follow this show at Strong Honor on Twitter, Facebook.com/Strong Honor Podcast. Taco, where can people find you?
Ooh, follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And you can follow me, Joe, at JoeBPWP. That's at Joe, Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, baby.
That's going to do it. Thanks for checking out Strong Honor. Bye.
Peace.
Adios.
My botch. Hasta jueves. Adios.
All right. I think that's going to do it. Let's get the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
Kojima tweet?
We're going to have to do some editing here.
Oh.
Pause for edit.
Yeah.